I haven't done anything on this channel. I just checked. Wrestling related. I mean, I put my buddy's band up there and whatnot. I haven't done anything up here on this channel wrestling related, YWC related, in almost 3 months. So, I think the only real way I can start this video before I get to anything else is to look each and every one of you who see this video right now, you, and even you in the back, anybody that still sees this video, anybody that is still subbed to this channel, that has hung on, that has come and asked me on Facebook where the hell I've been, thank you. Seriously, thank you. I've been sidetracked with a bunch of other things. I'm not going to say YouTube's my whole life, but I have thought repeatedly about the fact that I haven't been on here in a while, and I've meant over and over and over again to come up here and at least say hi, say thank you for hanging in there with me. I haven't had a chance to do it. Like I say, many distractions that, to say the least, are not a factor anymore and will not be gotten into in this video. But thank you for all of you that have hung on with me for going on, well, it's 2014, so 4 years now. I mean, SummerSlam, I think 2010 was my first video. Oh, remember that video? Remember that video? Oh, yeah. But, so 4 years, and after 4 years, you guys hang on with me after I haven't done anything of note on here in nearly 3 months. So, first thing I gotta say, big thank you to anybody that is still, that's still out there, I guess you could say. That being said, Happy New Year, guys. It is a new year. Well, obviously a lot's happened in wrestling with me since the last time I talked to you guys. I went down to the States to Cena territory, to Massachusetts, to see Survivor Series. And yeah, it's true. It wasn't the greatest show in the world, but you know what, guys? I had a fucking blast. It's been a long time. The last time I was live at a Big 4 pay-per-view was when Wrestlemania was in Toronto. Now, those of you who know your history know that that was 12 fucking years ago. You guys know, I don't live in Toronto, but I live near Toronto. I get a chance to see a lot of Raws and SmackDowns, and I've even seen some minor pay-per-views swing through our way. Not so much in the past couple of years, but the last time I was at a Big 4 was WrestleMania 18, Rock versus Hogan at the Skydome. So that was fun, and not gonna lie, the highlight of the night was in the first match, seeing Roman Reigns absolutely tear Rey Mysterio in half. Oh yes. Oh, and by the way, when I was in the States, I also got this done. I don't know if you guys can see that worth a damn, but your buddy Spaz Phoenix finally got his Phoenix. Little known story. People wonder where my name is Spaz Phoenix pretty much everywhere on the internet. Spaz has been a nickname of mine since I was like 14. The Phoenix aspect of it has nothing to do with wrestling, actually. It has nothing to do with Beth Phoenix, because everybody thought I was a big Beth Phoenix fan. I respect Beth Phoenix, but not enough to name myself after her. Is that very simply, I had the idea for, again, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I had the idea for this, and I've been holding off getting this for nearly 12 years. So it wasn't so much that I got a tattoo to be reminiscent of my nickname. I based my nickname on the tattoo that I wanted to get. So I don't know if the Phoenix is going to stay. I don't know if eventually I'll go and rename myself or whatever. But this is it's kind of interesting and different. And, you know, Survivor Series and a tattoo in one weekend was also relatively fun. What else has happened in wrestling in the past? Well, we had that whole detour, you know, Randy Orton versus The Big Show. That was boring. Bryan, Punk, the Wyatts, and the Shield continue to dominate wrestling, don't they? I mean, in all reality, they are the talking points of any show, any YouTube shooter, any video, any podcast, any blog, anything. So, I mean, I don't really have anything to say that hasn't already been said. The one thing that happened, and the one thing that really made me upset that this was a period of time where I wasn't making very many videos, is they finally did what I've done several videos on here about, and they finally made one championship, and they resisted the urge to put it on John Cena, which is fantastic. And now we're going into the new year. We have all kinds of speculations and rumors and whatnot, because we are now in the WrestleMania season, my favorite time of year, which means I get to do this. It is time for everybody's favorite series on this channel, and that's right, guys, it's been a long-ass time, but What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and welcome to the 2014 Road Signs. Oh yes, we are on the road to WrestleMania, and I will be here with you guys for every bump and niche and corner and traffic jam and shoulder bump on the road to WrestleMania. Now, how to start off Road Signs this year. Road Signs is the road to WrestleMania. You think about WrestleMania, you think of the streak. And what do you think of when you think of the streak? You think, who's going to face The Undertaker this year? Now, there's a plethora of people that I would love to see fight The Undertaker. Roman Reigns, for example. Dean Ambrose, for example. Bray Wyatt, for example. Most people don't agree with me, but Dolph Ziggler. Daniel Bryan's an obvious choice. This video, those of you familiar with this channel will not be surprised at all. This is the top 9 reasons John Cena should not face The Undertaker at this year's WrestleMania. Top 9. God, it's impending. Taker versus Cena is going to happen eventually. These are all the reasons that it shouldn't. And this is a direct shout out to my buddy James, who I told about this, well, back the last time I was actively making videos, and he's been asking me when it was coming ever since. So, James, this vid is dedicated specifically to you, my friend. This is the top 9 reasons Cena versus The Undertaker should not happen at WrestleMania 30 or ever. Just saying. Number 1, and most of these are obvious. Guys, these are my opinions, but these are pretty damn obvious reasons. I'm just putting it out there. Number 1, Cena doesn't need it. I mean, that's the understatement of the century. Cena can't get any higher. He's already in that echelon with Triple H and Brock Lesnar and Jericho and all that. That's kind of above the division anyway. It's not going to do him anything. The only way I could possibly forgive a Cena-Undertaker meeting at WrestleMania was if it was to cap off his career. And that's by his, I mean John Cena. I don't want The Undertaker to retire. Trust me. If Cena, for some reason, was told that he had to retire and he only had one match left in him and this was going to cap off his career with no possibility, like Edge broken neck promises of never, ever, ever Jericho coming back, I might be able to swallow that pill, but that's not happening. John Cena's never leaving, so he doesn't need it. Number 2, more importantly and even more obviously, Cena doesn't deserve it. I mean, storyline wise, they won't even bother writing him a reason that he deserves it. He'll just come out and give one of his bullshit, you know, I'm going to attempt to sound like somebody that's being solemn and respectful and da-da-da-da. I've accomplished all this. I want to throw one. Why are you beeping at me while I'm doing a video? Really? 2014? We're still doing this? Come on now. Lost my train of thought because Facebook likes to beep. Oh, yes. He'll just come out and say, oh, I've accomplished all this, now I want another accomplishment to throw on the pile. And people will be like, and we should care why. He does not have the talent to carry an Undertaker match. And when I say carry, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to The Undertaker. The Undertaker can carry a broomstick to a good match. But I'm pretty sure the broomstick could also give The Undertaker a better match. The Undertaker's ability to carry in a match would be stretched paper thin if he was forced to make John Cena look WrestleMania worthy. Oh, yes, he would. And the only other way this could possibly work, because nobody in their right mind is going to boo The Undertaker, and in this match, nobody is going to cheer John Cena. Because it's an away game. Even if WrestleMania was happening in Boston, this would be an away game for Cena because Taker has home field advantage wherever WrestleMania is. The only logical thing to do would be to turn John Cena heel, even if it was just for WrestleMania. And they won't do that, number 1, and he does not have the character diversity and dimension to pull off a massive enough heel turn to validate being in the ring with The Undertaker. It just won't happen. I mean, hell, Hardy and Undertaker would be better, but I'm just putting that out there. Now, Cena sucks on the mic, and I didn't even add that to the list here. I didn't even add that to the list here because it's so goddamn obvious. But on the other side of the coin, who does not suck on the mic is The Undertaker. Cena would nullify any great mic work that The Undertaker does. Let's be honest. There's not a lot of action from The Undertaker leading up to an Undertaker match at WrestleMania because he wrestles once a year. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful manner. Once again, Undertaker's getting up there. You know what? He only has black hair because he dyes it a month before WrestleMania. The rest of the time you've seen him, the biker pictures, and he's looking a little heavy with the silver beard and his wife, and it's all good, right? But Undertaker doesn't get very physical until WrestleMania day. And good for him. He's deserved it. But it's all carried on the mic, and it's all carried in the storytelling, which Cena would kill. Because he sucks on the mic, because he won't give Undertaker anything to bounce off of, because good guy Cena doesn't give The Undertaker a reason to be aggressive. And The Undertaker is a demon. The Undertaker is a demonic figure. He needs to be intimidating, and to be intimidating, you need to believe on some level that he is angry, or vengeful, or vindictive, or something, which means there has to at least be the appearance of conflict. And good guy Cena would come out there with the hustle, loyalty, and most likely respect, and it would just be so bad. And the other thing that could happen with that, if Cena does try to start something with The Undertaker, it would be like when he tried to keep up with The Rock on the mic, and we all know what a debacle that was. But I mean, cocky Cena just makes everything into a joke, and you cannot take something that the fans hold in such high regard as The Undertaker and all the presentation that he brings with him into the streak once a year and make it into a joke. The fans will turn off. Fans would, if you make Undertaker enough of a joke, there are fans that will not watch. There are fans that will not even bother to stream this if you make The Undertaker into a joke. I'm not saying Undertaker in 2014 is the be-all and end-all of wrestling, but he's the one guy that sort of really nobody can shit on. He's the streak is that one thing. It's above a title, it's above any other accomplishments, it's above briefcases or Rumble wins or belts or collections of belts or amalgamated belts or numbers of title reigns or numbers of main events. The streak is the thing. The streak is the one thing in WWE's history that's kind of, I don't want to sound corny, but it's untainted. And if you take that and you turn that into a joke, because of how highly it is regarded by the fans, people are just going to turn off WrestleMania. I don't care. You can put CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan in a 60-minute submission Iron Man match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship as your main event. There are people that will tune out if you make The Undertaker into a joke, and that's what Cena would do. 4 is the fear of the streak actually ending. Now, with anybody else going into a match with The Undertaker, you have to create the illusion, kayfabe-wise, that this person is a threat to the streak. They are intimidating, they are imposing, they are stepping up to the plate, they are a threat. Prime example, CM Punk last year. He's devious enough, he'll cheat, he'll push the envelope, he doesn't care if it's by disqualification, he's going to beat the streak. Now, what we have in this case, or what we will have in this case, is the opposite. And that is the fans being terrified that WWE is stupid enough to give John Cena the streak. And guys, I know all the John Cena apologists and WWE, always look on the bright side of life. All those guys are going to say, okay, come on, WWE's done some bad stuff, but they're not that bad. Look at what they've done. They're already comparing him to Ric Flair. In his calculations of title runs, they're already calling him the best WWE champion in history, blah 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 blah. Do not think that if this match happens, Cena being the one to beat the streak is not on the table, and that is what will ruin this match. The streak shouldn't end, first of all, and WWE's already handed John Cena enough. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that he hasn't earned anything in his career. I'm sorry, obviously he's done something to get to the position that he's in, on his knees with a mouthful, etc., etc., etc. But he's been handed a lot. He's been handed a lot because he's spick and span and he looks like a G.I. Joe and he makes the company look good to everybody that's not a wrestling fan. He looks like a G.I. Joe, he looks like, Mr. Clean to the parents and the special interest groups and the charity groups and blah, 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 blah. He does that, and that's fine, and he's very good at that. It's bullshit. It's what he's best at. But bullshit should not get you something like this. WWE kisses John Cena's ass enough. They do not need to give him this. Plus, the streak shouldn't end. Period. The only time I will go against that, the only hitch in that statement is if the Undertaker comes out on a microphone or in a meeting or in a booking meeting or whatever and picks out, Joe Blow, nobody, says, this guy's the future, I'm going to make sure of it, give him my streak. If Mark Calloway sits in a business meeting with Vince McMahon and says, I want to give person X the streak, fine. He's earned the right to do that. Other than that, fuck no. And here's the deal. The fear, even if this match miraculously became good, the overlaying fear that the WWE is stupid enough to give John Cena the streak will ruin any minute bits of good that will come out of this match. Just saying. Number 5. Now we're talking about the match itself. Cena's offense sucks. I mean, understatements are understatements. 5 moves of doom, and I'm sorry, there's no 2 worse things to watch than A, John Cena trying to execute an STF, or what I have lovingly come to know as the Cena can't Rana. Just saying. Cena's defense sucks. We know this as well. Cena can't sell for shit. And Cena's Superman comebacks, and I'm sorry, my prime examples are going to be Ryback, Kane, and the Brock Lesnar Extreme Rules match of 2013, again, will make The Undertaker look like a joke and will piss off fans. And at this point, if you have Cena Superman over The Undertaker, like take a couple of tombstones and, dust it off and do his little, dust off the shoulder bit, I guarantee you people that paid for the show will turn it off. Putting it out there. And, not saying that Undertaker needs to be sold, but again, he's getting old. I'm just saying, he could use the help a little bit, and Cena ain't gonna give it to him for sure. Okay, here's something that's maybe not a big deal to most people. Maybe not a big deal to most people, but this is a really big thing to me, and this is really one of the things that sort of stuck in my head, and I wanted to figure out a way to fit this in here that didn't sound like a nitpick. Cena's finishers suck. I already mentioned the STF, which kind of looks like he's going broke back on whoever his opponent is and just, lying there and letting whatever happens. And the attitude adjustment, when the attitude adjustment first came to be, or the FU, as it was originally called, for those of you that don't know and have just started watching wrestling recently or lived under a rock or whatever, the FU was almost a really impactful Death Valley driver, which looked really good. Now it's just, okay, you're on my shoulders, okay, you're not. Now, John Cena FUing or attitude adjusting The Undertaker would, I will give him credit, it would look impressive if I hadn't seen him do it to the Great Khali, the Big Show and Edge at the same time, Kane. Like, it would be impressive to see him pull off the attitude adjustment on the Demon of Death Valley, The Undertaker, if he hadn't already done it to people a lot bigger and a lot more daunting. So that aspect is gone. And add to that the fact that it's a toss, and it looks flimsy, and he looks really, really stupidly animated when he does it now. It's like, whee! I can't take his finisher seriously, which means I can't take his match seriously. Now, you're going to try and sit there and tell me that The Undertaker could fall to either Brokeback Cena all over the mat or this stupid little throw when he has stood up to multiple Sweet Chin Musics, multiple pedigrees, along with a couple sledgehammer shots, multiple choke slams from his own, big little brother, multiple tombstones from his own, big little brother, F5s, GTSs, RKOs, World's Strongest Slams, Mandible Claws, tables, ladders, chairs, and most recently, triple power bombs from the Shield. You're going to tell me after absorbing all that for, over two decades of destruction, that little flimsy cartoon throw is the threat to the streak. Disgusting. I don't care if it sounds like a nitpick, it's disgusting. The last is that John Cena will not sell... Cena better not win. I'm putting that out there right now. So even on the assumption that Cena loses, or the hope and the prayer that WWE pulls their heads out of their asses and knows that John Cena needs to lose this match, he will not sell the effects after the match. And when I say sell the effects after the match, think about CM Punk after his loss last year. Came out, CM Punk, king of the pipe bomb, dangerous with a microphone. Paul Heyman at his side, came out the night after WrestleMania, so distraught after losing to The Undertaker in the most important match of his life, after mocking a dead guy, etc., 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 didn't have a thing to say, dropped the microphone, wasn't seen again for months. Or at least it felt like months, because, you know, Punk's actually good and we want him to come back. There will be no downward spiral for Cena. And how do I know this? Because the big downward spiral was supposed to happen when he lost to The Rock. And his big downward spiral lasted less than a month when he Supermaned over Brock fucking Lesnar. And then came back a year later to beat The Rock for the WWE Championship that he didn't deserve. I don't even know what to say. And I swear to God, if we get some bullshit handshake, I mean, it's different. It really was the end of the era in that Hell in the Cell match with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. These guys all came from the same place. They had a respect. They had a shared respect from the audience. They had a shared respect for each other. And the ending you saw and the show of respect you had between the three of them was genuine. If this ends in a bullshit handshake, if one more person has to quote-unquote pass the torch to John Cena, I will vomit. I will vomit, and I will take the Doomy Clipboard of Doom, which is still here. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I will break the Doomy Clipboard of Doom over my head, Johnny Thunder style, if this bullshit ends in a handshake. I'm just saying. Guys, that is the top 9 reasons why John Cena versus The Undertaker should not happen at WrestleMania 30, or ever. Anyways, one more thing before I go. The Breakers group. I am no longer a part of the Breakers group on Facebook. I have started a new one. There's not much there yet. I think there's only about 10 people. All the familiar faces that you guys know from this channel. James is there, Angela's there, Kara's there. I'm going to try and get those guys back on the channel again to start doing some collabs again. Hopefully we can get some fun like that before WrestleMania. But if you want to go to the new group, it is on Facebook. It is called The Wrestler's Realm. It's not very original, I know. I'm sorry. If you can come up with help me come up with a better name, I am all open to suggestions. But until then, this has been the first installment of the 2014 Road Signs. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Good to talk to all of you guys again. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every single last one of you later. For right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak.